Hello, dear students. I welcome you all on behalf of Sri Jayendra Rangjone classes. Dear student, we are in a continuation of the chapter that is plant breeding. And in this lecture, we are going to discuss the plant breeding, which is done for the developing resistance to the insect and pest. So, if we need to develop a resistance against insects and pest in a plant, the breeding can be performed. And we know that the another major cause for a large scale destruction of crop plant and crop produce is insects and pest infection. And due to the insect and pest infection, so many plants are getting destroyed. Like this, these are the several insects and pests which affect the particular plant and degrade the quality of plant. So insects resistance in host crop plant may be due to how this insect resistance in a host crop plant to which these insects are going to affect is gained. So it can be gained by a morphological way. Okay, that is we carry out some morphological changes in the organism on the host plant, and due to which the insects or pests are not get attracted, either biochemical or physiological characteristic. By the biological we can say, biochemical we can say, okay, we can reduce some of the chemicals which will not allow these insects to come nearby, and same as some physiological characters are also responsible for gaining insect resistance in this particular plant. So we can say the insects and pest infestation is large cause of a destruction, but insect resistance in host plant can be due to morphological, biochemical, and physiological characteristic. So if we talk about this such characteristic, the presence of hairy leaves in several plant are associated with the resistance of insect and pest. Means if hairy leaves are developed, due to this hairy leaves, the insects are not going to come nearby. And this hairy leaves is a one type of morphological defense or morphological resistance to the particular pest and insect. And if we take about such hairy leaves gives a resistance against the jacids pest in cotton. Okay, okay, so these are the hairy leaves you can see, which does not allow this particular jacids to come nearby in cotton, and as well as resistance to cereal leaf beetles. Okay, leaf beetles which affect the cereal, specifically in wheat, that leaf beetles are avoided by these hairy leaves. So this both we can say, this particular hairy leaves, if we talk, this is a type of morphological type of resistance. It is morphological resistance. So it is the first example. Okay, after this if we take another example is that in wheat if we talk, there is a development of solid stem, and due to the solid stem that lead to the non-preference by the stem slow fly. So stem slow fly is not going to affect this wheat and cause a disease. So this is also a particular, see, this is a solid stem, this is not preferred by the stem slow fly. So this presence of solid stem, it is also a morphological resistance. Now after this, the smooth leaved and nectarless cotton. If we talk about the smooth leaves and nectarless cotton, or we can say absence of nectar production in a cotton. So smooth leaves and absence of nectar production in cotton will not attract the bollworms. Okay, type of pest. So this is, if we talk, this is the bollworm which are not going to be attracted to the cotton. So here, if we talk, a smooth leaf is a morphological type of resistance called resistance. But absence of nectar is a, or nectarless cotton is a biochemical resistance. Okay. Then, if we talk about another example, is high aspartic acid production, then nitrogen and sugar content are low. When these are low in maize, it will provide a resistance against these stem borers. So stem borers will not get attracted towards this maize and infect this maize and destroy it. So this is also a one type of, we can say, biochemical resistance. So these are the examples of morphological, biochemical, and behavioral type of resistance. And in this, we are mainly talking about the morphological and biochemical. We have studied solid stem, hairy leaves, smooth leaves, and absence of nectar, and low nitrogen and sugar content, and high aspartic acid. So this is the way the particular resistance to the insect can be achieved. Now it is known that breeding method for insect pest resistance include the same steps. Okay, if we talk here, then we remember breeding methods for insect and pest resistance. Breeding methods for insect and pest resistance include the same steps as far other agronomic character. Agronomic character like yield or quality as described above in the disease resistance part. So such a way we can carry out a breeding for the insect resistance or pest resistance as well. Now, some released crop varieties are known, that is bred by hybridization and selection for the insect and pest resistance. So we need to remember such examples which are developed a pest or insect resistance, and this particular given some of the examples. And here some of the crops are as below. So if we talk about crop, their variety and their insect pest. So the crop is brassica, which is also known as Rhapsod mustard. Its new variety, which is developed by the breeding, that is hybridization and selection for the pest resistant, is Pusa gaurav, and it provides a resistance against the aphids type of insect. Same way, another example is of flat bean, and this flat bean variety is Pusa sem2 and Pusa sem3, which is developed by artificial and hybridization and selection, and this provide a resistance against the jacids, aphids, and fruit borers. And third is okra, which is also known as vindi or reddish finger. Its two varieties are there, Pusa savani and Pusa a4. These are provide a resistance against the shoot and fruit borer insects. Okay, so such a way, the by the plant breeding or by the particular morphological, biochemical, or a behavioral resistance, the particularly resistance against the insects or pests can be achieved. So Pusa Gaurav variety of Brassica Rhapsod mustard is resistant to aphid, that we have studied in the table, that you should remember. Then Pusa Sem2, this is a Pusa Sem2 variety, and Pusa Sem3 of flat bean are resistant to insect like jacids, aphids, and fruit borer. This is Pusa Sem3 variety. Okay. Then Pusa Savani and Pusa A4 variety of okra are resistant to shoot and fruit borer. Okay. So here heterosis breeding in okra means, heterosis means what? Superiority of offspring over parent is seen here. Okay, so that is what about the plant breeding for a developing resistant to the insect and pest. I hope you understood well. Thank you.